Coming up today on Shielding Your Retirement, even the best laid plans can be tested by life's sudden turns. Today, we want to help guide you through some of those difficult trials you might face in retirement, including the death of a spouse or divorce. After today's show, you'll know some of the simple, actionable steps you can take to help ensure your future isn't derailed by the unexpected. Shielding Your Retirement starts right now.
Retirement is more than a destination. It's a journey that starts with a dream, a vision for the way you want to live, recharge, and give back. To get there, you need a plan to reach your retirement goals. William Thatcher of Thatcher Wealth Management has the strategies you need to plan for income, taxes, healthcare, and more. For years, William Thatcher has been helping families plan for a successful retirement. Welcome to Shielding Your Retirement with William Thatcher.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Kelly Dame here with William Thatcher of Thatcher Wealth Management, serving families right here in West Michigan. The loss of a spouse through death or divorce is one of the most emotionally overwhelming challenges to deal with, but having a plan in place can help you deal with life's twists and turns. So William, this is obviously a tough topic to navigate, but also one that we don't want to shy away from because it is just so important to talk to people about.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that we focus on a lot as our team continues to expand, the importance of being with someone who has that transition in their life, such a deep part of their life. It's kind of an odd stat, but at one point in time, 75% of my client base was women who are divorced or widowed. It's just something that we have such a big heart for and caring for that part of our community.
So it's a reality, again, something that we kind of want to take head on. So today's big idea is what you need to know about navigating the loss of a spouse in or before retirement, or either through death or divorce. So let's just kind of start there and break it down a little bit.
Absolutely. Divorce can potentially change everything when it comes to someone's financial plan. You probably have half the assets that you had at one time. Your housing situation can change, let alone having to navigate all the family matters that come along with that. Your taxes change as well, and this is either divorce or with the loss of a spouse. And so all of these pieces, especially when one spouse passes away, it's not an if that happens, but a when that happens. You want to make sure that you have that survivorship plan in place so that really the finances are the last thing that you have to worry about.
You mentioned you've seen this a lot, and here's a stat as well for you to back that up. AARP says 1 in 4 divorces are among couples age 65 or older. So what are some things that our viewers might want to be aware of in case of, specifically as we talk about divorce?
Yeah. As I mentioned before, oftentimes half of someone's assets would be divided, right? And maybe that's, based upon how much is in the retirement accounts. Maybe it's, hey, you can keep this much of the retirement accounts, but we're going to get the equity in the house. That really changes your whole planning. Also, your income situation can also change dramatically, right? Where do you create that income from if one was relying on their spouse? Or on the flip side of the equation, we work with a lot of families where maybe they were the primary income earner, but they have to pay out a lot of money in alimony, and therefore really it ends up where both spouses are left far behind in their planning where they would have needed to otherwise. And the last thing I'll just say again is that taxes change dramatically. And so understanding when those tax change happen in that, and then how to avoid as much undue taxes as possible is really critically important.
You've talked on the show before just about how important relationships are to you in the clients that you serve and the business that you do every day. I imagine relationship really comes into play here when you're talking about the death of a loved one. So how do you talk to people about what could happen to them financially if their spouse should pass away?
Yeah. For us, we often approach that planning question with understanding where that income's coming from. So if they're both receiving Social Security, one of those two checks is going to go away. and they're going to be able to keep the higher of those two checks, but that can substantially change where our income streams are coming from. Those assets, we want to make sure those beneficiaries are being cared for appropriately, and making sure that those beneficiaries are both getting updated, but also make sure that oftentimes for families, there's a chaos of different accounts out there. How do we make sure that each of those are pointed to the right place? Because you really do not want to be behind the 8 ball and have some lawyer tell you that money is not actually yours. Right? So we want to start that planning out the gate, and that again includes tax efficient strategy. One of the things that sets us apart from folks in town is that really our second pillar is to make sure that for us, making sure that our clients, really try to get to the 0% tax bracket, or as legally as close as they can get as quickly as possible. And that's really partly to set up that survivorship planning. If you get into a space where your spouse passed away, but you no longer have to worry about taxes, then it dramatically changes the game.
I think that's an interesting point that you made of what sets us apart from others in town. You mentioned your second pillar. There are other pillars, right?
Yeah.
What do you tell people when they say, okay, I'm putting my trust and my faith in someone, like why you? How do you guys set yourself apart?
Yeah, so I have a book coming out, or actually by the time this airs, it's probably already out, called Shielding Your Retirement. And in it, we talk about that Armor Guard retirement roadmap. Those 3 things that separate us is 1, creating financial plans that you never have to worry about outliving your income, right, or outliving your money. The second thing is that tax question, right? That tax efficiency planning, having a laser focus on that for us is so important, helping those families that we get to serve get to that 0% tax bracket, or as legally as close as they get as quickly as possible. And the third thing that sets us apart is make sure that when another 2008 does happen again, it's not going to change your lifestyle in retirement. Those are the 3 things that separate us, and our team really rallies behind that trademarked Armor Guard retirement roadmap to make sure that everyone gets there.
Perfect. Well, thanks for setting that up for us. I know we've got a lot more to talk about today, so we'll save some of that conversation for just a bit. So coming up next, strategies to help you prepare for life's twists and turns in retirement. And later, William is in the hot seat for Retirement IQ. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Your dream car, the open road, and freedom. It's just one turn away. Or so you thought. Even when things look good, hidden problems can ruin your plans. Think of your retirement. At first glance, your investments might seem solid, but under the hood, what kind of risk are you exposed to? And what about taxes, income, healthcare costs? Don't let your retirement dreams stall out. Act now and get your free risk analysis to help keep you in the retirement fast lane.
More is usually better, but not when it comes to taxes in retirement. Tax rates might seem high right now, but these could be the lowest rates you ever see again. Think how that could impact your retirement. The good news is there are strategies you can take advantage of now to help lower your tax bill later and help get the most out of what you've saved for retirement. But don't delay. Time is limited and rates could rise soon. So act now to get your free tax analysis. Help uncover hidden savings and optimize your income in retirement. Take action and claim your free tax analysis now.
In life, it's good to know what you have to work with. Knowing how many nails you have before building that birdhouse. Knowing how much sugar you have before starting to bake the cake. But do you know how much income you'll be able to count on in retirement? Retirement savings are one thing, but knowing how those savings can turn into income is another. Are you confident you know what your retirement income will look like? Call our team and get a free income analysis today. We can show you what you might expect for income in retirement. Find out now so you won't have to wonder later. Call for your free analysis today.
They say knowledge is power. Whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, you'll probably never say you know too much. The same is true with retirement. The more you know, the more prepared you'll be for everything in store. And we've made it easy to get started. This free offer is packed with knowledge to help answer some of retirement's biggest questions. It's our gift to you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Act now and claim your free offer today.
Welcome back to Shielding Your Retirement with William Thatcher.
I am here with William Thatcher, founder of Thatcher Wealth Management. Welcome back today. William, we are helping viewers today understand the financial changes that could come with the loss of a spouse. And now we want to help give you some ways to deal with this challenge. So let's start there.
Yeah, so we think about situational changes in retirement. That's one of those major changes. Tax changes is another one. There's a couple others, but situational change happens, and it might be just simply a loss of a spouse, right? And I say simply, not sort of tongue in cheek, but that's the one that if everything kind of happens the way it's supposed to, right? It's not an if, but a when one spouse passes away before the other. And that's something you can plan around. And the second one, of course, is things don't go according to plan, and that divorce does take place. How does that impact not just your life in general, but also your financial lives?
So let's talk about some of those ways that it may impact specifically divorce when we talk about couples in retirement.
One of those things to think about is, one question I get asked a lot is, if there's a divorce, am I going to be eligible for any of the Social Security? Right? There might be a spouse that worked more than the other spouse, and so their Social Security is higher, right? Their benefit amount is higher, and there's that question: Am I going to be able to get what I was planning on, if there was any plan at all before? And the answer to that is yes. So for a divorced situation with Social Security, it's essentially the same benefits as it was before. The primary person that was working, they're going to get their benefit amount, and their ex-spouse, given all things being equal, is going to get up to half of that, even if they didn't really almost have any working record at all. So that's one angle that we have to address, is going to be that piece is around Social Security.
Another thing not to forget, those beneficiaries, right? Because those can change, and you may not be ready for it.
Yeah, undoubtedly. When someone gets divorced, oftentimes their beneficiaries are going to change, right? And for reasons we all understand. Those things don't happen automatically. And there's usually more accounts than people remember at any given time. Usually it's not just one account and then you change it and then you're good. There's an entire infrastructure, right, of adjustments that you want to make down the line. One of those, understanding Social Security, how does that change your strategy? Another one is where that money's going, and making sure that you have directed that to be in accordance with your current will as well.
Turning now to the other scenario that we were talking about, the death of a spouse. Obviously, we've mentioned this is a tough topic to have to talk about and to bring up. Is that part of your process every time you work with your clients? Talk me through how those get brought up.
Yeah. So with our Armor Guard Retirement Roadmap, which is our trademark system of how we really accomplish our goals for any family, there's 5 pillars to that, and the last one is legacy and estate planning. So in our first visit, we sit down with folks. We'll always ask, do you have a trust or a will in place? Do you really have an estate plan? And folks will say, nope, we don't have an estate plan. The truth is, the answer is actually you do have a plan. It's just dictated by your state. It's the state of Michigan's estate plan for your family. And that's oftentimes not what you want. Now, without going too far down that road, we also uncover if the family does have a plan in place, and hopefully a sophisticated one, of how they're going to take care of the surviving spouse. Right? Understanding where all of your assets are at, what's your goals and plans for each of these? How do we make sure that the spouse that survives, the last thing on their mind can be their finances, because they know that their income, their lifestyle does not have to change.
You mentioned it being kind of the 5th area that you all go through. So clearly there's a method to the, I don't want to say madness, if you will, but you've got a plan as well when you work with people. So how does that look? They just come into your office, they say, I'm ready to put together a plan. You sit down with them. Talk me through that.
Our conversations that we have are really across the board. Some folks, they already have a plan in place, right? And they really just want a second set of eyes. Right, and it's something as important as their retirement, right, their lifestyle, having a second set of eyes, particularly retirement, someone deeply seasoned in retirement planning like myself, is very important to them. Other folks don't have any plan in place at all. And they don't know what their Social Security is going to look like. They don't know what their Medicare coverage is going to be. They don't have any of that. We're just there for the conversation. And we do want to make sure that over a cup of coffee or tea or whatever they prefer, we're getting all those questions answered and uncovering what we need to see what the best next steps for that family are.
Again, our show is called Shielding Your Retirement. So doing what you can, of course, to walk people through, guide them, guard them against all of the pitfalls that may come up in retirement. So it's great to know what that process is, especially those of you at home who may be wondering, is it time for me to start to put my plan together in place? So thank you so much for those insights. Coming up next is the hot seat for William as we go through the retirement IQ, always one of my favorite parts of the show. And then later, what are some of the simple, actionable steps you can take to help you prepare for life's curveballs? William has your checklist challenge. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
More is usually better, but not when it comes to taxes in retirement. Tax rates might seem high right now, but these could be the lowest rates you ever see again. Think how that could impact your retirement. The good news is there are strategies you can take advantage of now to help lower your tax bill later and help get the most out of what you've saved for retirement. But don't delay. Time is limited and rates could rise soon. So act now to get your free tax analysis. Help uncover hidden savings and optimize your income in retirement. Take action and claim your free tax analysis now.
They say knowledge is power. Whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, you'll probably never say you know too much. The same is true with retirement. The more you know, the more prepared you'll be for everything in store. And we've made it easy to get started. This free offer is packed with knowledge to help answer some of retirement's biggest questions. It's our gift to you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Act now and claim your free offer today.
Your dream car, the open road, and freedom. It's just one turn away. Or so you thought. Even when things look good, hidden problems can ruin your plans. Think of your retirement. At first glance, your investments might seem solid, but under the hood, what kind of risk are you exposed to? And what about taxes, income, healthcare costs? Don't let your retirement dreams stall out. Act now and get your free risk analysis to help keep you in the retirement fast lane.
In life, it's good to know what you have to work with. Knowing how many nails you have before building that birdhouse. Knowing how much sugar you have before starting to bake the cake. But do you know how much income you'll be able to count on in retirement? Retirement savings are one thing, but knowing how those savings can turn into income is another. Are you confident you know what your retirement income will look like? Call our team and get a free income analysis today. We can show you what you might expect for income in retirement. Find out now so you won't have to wander later. Call for your free analysis today.
Welcome back to Shielding Your Retirement with William Thatcher.
And now it is time to put our knowledge to the test with this week's retirement IQ. You know what to expect. You ready for it?
Here we are.
Here we are. I
Yeah.
even say if you're ready for it or not, but I'll just take that as my cue to get going. All right, trivia question number 1, true or false? It's nice. You've got a 50-50 chance here. 70% of adults 65 and older will need some type of long-term care.
The answer to that, unfortunately, is true. Most likely, when folks are in their 80s, them or their spouse will need some type of care for their standard living.
Do you often find that this is an area that people may overlook, not understand maybe how much those costs could be? Because that, from my understanding, could be a significant cost.
Yeah, absolutely. I think folks are really just starting to, what's that next touch point, right? When they jump into retirement, where's that next income check going to come from, right? But what they're not thinking on is the substantial increase of healthcare costs rising in the future. And it's either something that freezes them, they know it's a problem, but they kind of bury their head in the sand, or they don't have any clue and they have no plan around it. And the truth is, in West Michigan, the average is somewhere around $10,000 a month needed for that long-term care. So the important thing is to have a strategy around it.
That is a lot. And we talk about on this show quite a bit just how things are changing and having that plan for when things change puts you in a better seat than if you didn't have a plan at all. I should also mention, you got it right. We had no doubt.
Yeah.
Okay. Trivia question 2. True or false, if your ex-spouse files for Social Security benefits, based on your record, it will cut your benefits in half?
Thankfully, this is false. I get this question a lot after I teach those courses on Social Security. Folks will walk up and say, hey, when I take Social Security, is that going to cut my ex-spouses? And they want to hear absolutely, right? But the truth is it does not. And even if you are remarried to somebody else, it's still not going to jeopardize either your own benefit or your next spouse's benefit as well.
Is Social Security a big topic of conversation for those when you have your classes that you're teaching or your seminars?
Yeah, absolutely. We like to stay active in the community, right? Bringing value. Ever since I went to Calvin College, years ago, I just saw how much people's heart was for that community, and being able to create a space where we get to educate and equip people for the years ahead and to allow them to have confidence for the future is huge for us. So whether that's teaching courses at local community colleges or just colleges in general, as well as libraries and so on, Social Security, Medicare, long-term care, all these things are really important topics that unless you really understand what you're getting yourself into, it can be extremely overwhelming.
Well, we talked too before on these shows about how knowledge is power, but also you have to enact it. So it's nice to give that knowledge. Now we're giving you the keys, right? So, all right, question 3, true or false? On average, women live longer than men.
Absolutely true. And it's usually not by a small amount. About 8 out of 10 times a wife will outlive their husband, and barring some tragic accident, it's not an if that happens, but a when. We really want to make sure the plans are around that so that when one spouse does pass away, the finances are the last thing on their mind.
Yep, absolutely. All right, trivia question 4. That one also was correct as well. True or false? If you get divorced and remarry, your beneficiary designations automatically change to your new spouse's name.
False. Okay.
Don't forget.
Do not forget. This is so important. Those beneficiaries do not automatically change. And the truth is, when a divorce happens, it's a horrible event. But you really want to make sure that you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's and making sure that, and even working with a financial professional to make sure that all of those, every single one of those accounts and all those different places are taken care of to now reflect where your funds and your hard-earned funds are ready to go.
That's why it's so nice to have, you mentioned, someone in your corner who's thinking about these things when you may not be, because you may be dealing with the ramifications of the divorce, right? And not think about this kind of stuff. So again, just little important things that you don't want to overlook. Still to come, you'll learn some of the simple steps you can take today to help you prepare for some of life's curveballs, because how useful is knowledge, like we've said, without action? That's coming up. Stay tuned.
More is usually better, but not when it comes to taxes and retirement. Tax rates might seem high right now, but these could be the lowest rates you ever see again. Think how that could impact your retirement. The good news is there are strategies you can take advantage of now to help lower your tax bill later and help get the most out of what you've saved for retirement. But don't delay. Time is limited and rates could rise soon. So act now to get your free tax analysis. Help uncover hidden savings and optimize your income in retirement. Take action and claim your free tax analysis now.
They say knowledge is power. Whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, you'll probably never say you know too much. The same is true with retirement. The more you know, the more prepared you'll be for everything in store. And we've made it easy to get started. This free offer is packed with knowledge to help answer some of retirement's biggest questions. It's our gift to you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Act now and claim your free offer today.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Shielding Your Retirement with William Thatcher. William, this has been obviously a lot of important things to dive into. I know it's not always the most fun topic to talk about or think about, but again, just so important. We talk all the time about having a plan as things come your way so so that you know what to do if in fact your world gets turned upside down through something like maybe the loss of your spouse. So I think we probably have all learned a lot today. For those of you at home, now is probably the time if you want to take some notes to drive this home. We know the saying is knowledge is power. And so arming you guys with knowledge is what we're trying to do here today. So let's recap what we've talked about today.
Absolutely. And I usually add that Dale Carnegie's line about knowledge is only power if it is applied, right? Putting these things into place. And when one spouse passes away or the unthinkable happens and divorce takes place, really having not just the knowledge of how that changed, but a plan of how you take advantage of the situation you're in and make it the most for you. These are life-changing situations that happen every day. And especially for when a spouse does pass away, it's not an if, but a when. A few things to keep in mind when you're approaching that situation or thinking about it is, number one, understanding what your current beneficiary designations are. Right? This is not something that automatically changes. All those different accounts that have funds, and you want to make sure where they're going is in alignment with what you want. Very, very important. The second thing is understanding, taking inventory really of where your retirement assets are at, right? All your different accounts as the dust has settled, say in a divorce, who gets what and when, understanding what those are, so then you have the building blocks to put together a successful plan. And the third thing is understanding what your Social Security retirement benefit is going to be. And for everyone listening to this, you can find that at ssa.gov, or if they're still sending you a statement in the mail, and just looking at what those latest estimates are. And if anyone has questions on where to find those or how to find those, of course, call myself and my team. We're here to help. We just had a really special conversation a few days ago in the office, and someone was telling us how a year ago she got a divorce. They had been married for 20-something years, and she was actually spent most of her adult life taking care of those children and didn't regret a day of that. But now, a year after this divorce, she's just starting to put those pieces together. These are sacred conversations that when we get invited to that, we just want to make sure that person's and that woman's taken care of, right? And so if anyone does have those situations, please give us a call. This is what we're here for. And even that long-term spousal survivorship planning as well is so important.
The opportunity to come in and make a difference. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that you can take what you've learned and put it into action. And don't forget, William and his team are here to help you stay on top of all the things in retirement so you can be free to spend your time doing what you love with the people who matter most to you. For William and the team at Thatcher Wealth Management, I'm Kelly Dame. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.